Yes.
Hi, my name is David Stauffer, and I want to thank you for viewing this video. Our topic today is career counseling and career management. And I have with me here Sam Soliman. He's our Vice President of Academic Affairs. And Sam, we're really dealing with this subject as it relates to where we're at in the 21st century. And I know that you're a big innovator with market-driven academic programs. And so if you would just share with the folks how important you think career counseling is and career management. What place does it have here? What are some things that we're doing at Ancilla College relative to these topics?
Well, we're reevaluating how we do liberal arts. We still see value in that, but like you said, market-driven programs, we want to offer programs that will get students into the workforce. There's plenty of writing out there of stories of people who have gone and got graduate degrees and they're working at Starbucks, and we don't want that for our graduates. So we are working with businesses to find out what are the needs that they want, what are the skills that they're looking for, so our graduates are prepared for the workforce. I think that employers, the more contact they have with students, whether it's through field trips, coming in and giving presentations, doing apprenticeship type things, those are good ways to get students into the workforce. We're looking at opportunities with our workforce development about offering possible vocational certificates that would give people opportunity to get jobs, but hopefully will encourage them to go on and get their education so they can get better paying jobs. So,
Sam, earlier this year we had some town hall meetings and we dealt with business and education. And I know that you put together a bunch of survey information that we had. Could you speak to some of the major findings from those two meetings that we had where we brought in people from the marketplace and some of the feedback they gave us?
I think one common theme, we're looking at expanding, so offering baccalaureate degrees in business administration and elementary ed. They're kind of disparate, but one thing that both of the professionals in those fields said was teaching soft skills, giving students a sense of what professionalism is, what's acceptable in the workplace, what isn't. We just had a meeting 2 weeks ago again with principals, superintendents, and they brought up teaching students what is the proper use of social media, because there are a lot of people out there that the example they gave was people doing things on the weekend and posting it on social media, and that making parents nervous when they find it out, and rightly so. But I think it's some things that older people would say is common sense, but a lot of times you live and you learn. And it's a new age.
Yeah.
Technology, we're learning what norms are, what's acceptable, what isn't.
I recall from some of those discussions, especially in the academic area, and I know that one of the things in both academics and business was the soft skills that you mentioned, but I recall hearing many times as far as the issue with teachers wasn't knowledge of content that they were teaching, but was basically being able to manage a classroom.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the needs, and they talked about maybe having the teachers, rather than waiting to the end of the program, but doing an internship earlier in the program to figure out if in fact this is exactly what they wanted to do. So that would kind of help that connection, don't you think?
Definitely.
What are your thoughts on that?
That was something that was discussed with the education. A lot of times in education programs, students are doing their student teaching at the very end. And then they might realize they don't want to be a teacher. And so the suggestion they gave was you need to have students in the classroom earlier so they get that experience. And we were even talking about with the principals of how oftentimes students will get placed with the good teachers, and so they have a skewed view. And I made the comment, I said, well, how can we get our students with the bad teachers? And it wasn't that they would be with bad teachers, but how can we get them to expose to real life situations? So we talked about ways that we could maybe, because you can't predict those things. So they were talking, for instance, what do you do when a student is missing or didn't get dropped off at home for a teacher, and the parent then is yelling at you? How do you can't predict that.
How do you deal with that and that stress and everything?
Yeah, so we talked about, different role playing, bringing people in unscripted. So, oftentimes there's those cliche responses of, I understand, but when a person isn't coming into role play and doesn't give those, oh, okay, now I'm calmed down, I think it gives more real life experience.
Yeah, real life. Well, I have in front of me a recent edition of the Chronicle of Higher Education, and you alluded to this at the beginning of our conversation. And in this, it talks about how the average student loan debt is on average, now there certainly are some higher and some lower, approaching $35,000. And the underemployment rate for recent graduates is right at 44%. And then near the end of the article, it talks about it's time to rethink the purpose of the degree and offer more flexibility as to when, where, and how students acquire it. I was talking about going beyond the 18, 19, 20-year-old into continuing education. So just in conclusion, could you comment on some of the programs that we are working on here, that you are working on heading up, as far as these market-driven programs? What are some things that we've been working on?
Well, we're looking at offering a vet tech program. In Indiana, you have to go to a school that's accredited through the American Veterinary Medicine Association. So providing that education in a condensed format that's relevant, get in, get out, get a job. So career management and counseling is very important. We're looking at allied health, since allied health is always booming. 3 areas: lab, rehab, and imaging. So we're looking at radiography. Hopefully we'll have a physical therapy assistant job for someone to come in for 2 years, get the education they need, get certified or licensed, and then out in the workforce. Some of the vocational certificates that we're looking at is accounting bookkeeping certificate that would lead into a business, some EMT certification that might lead into different avenues of allied health, phlebotomy, which could lead into different allied health areas. There's a lot of areas that we're exploring, but that's...
So from a career management standpoint, really focusing on some of the market-driven programs that employable situations that are in high demand, especially in our region, correct?
Yeah.
As far as career counseling is concerned, is there a tip or a two that you typically give a student when they come to see you?
I know it's cliche, but
Excuse me.
I tell them to pursue what they want to do. And that, especially in the first years of college, I changed my major 7 times. So you can start with an idea and then get exposed to something else and change your idea, and that's okay. There are some students that are very focused and know, but there are a lot of people who aren't. Just to be open-minded, to seek counseling. That's one of the great things about where we work. Jim, Dave, you guys are always open to students and helping them see what possibilities are out there. So
I just got done teaching a class on personal finance, and one of the things that I shared with the students, and I used an example of our son. He started out concentrating on accounting, and he went to like 5 different things, went full circle, came back to accounting. He's got a CPA license now, and he is serving in the Washington, D.C. area. So, that's Sam, fun. We appreciate your wisdom and giving us some time on this important subject of career counseling and career management. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thanks.